the backbone of our democracy. And unfortunately, we meet during a dark time for America's workers. As government is shut down, it's a dark time. Last night, the president spouted more malice and misinformation, appealing to fear instead of facts. The reality is that the president could end the Trump shutdown and reopen government today, and he should. Instead, he is holding the American people hostage to his ineffective, expensive wall and withholding paychecks for hardworking Americans. To some, he is saying, work without a paycheck. To others, he's saying, just stay home. In all of those cases, he's being unfair, not only to the workers, but also to the American people whose services he is depriving, and also to our economy. The president's manufacturing crisis reaches into the lives of millions of Americans. It threatens services and benefits they need to stay healthy and secure. It robs hardworking Americans of their paychecks. Some we will hear from, like Steve Reeves and the 3,200 workers of the AFGE National Local 4060, Holly Salamito and the 5,000 workers of AFGE Council 222, Eric Young, and the 3,200 men and women of AFGE Council 33. These numbers are numbers to you, but they are people. They are families. They are resources in our community, and we'll hear from them. And of course, we're very, very honored to welcome J. David Cox, who represents the 700,000 American Federation of Government Employees. Later today, congressional Democrats will go to the White House. Will have given the president a Republican path forward. We have said to them, we are willing to accept what the Senate Republicans have passed overwhelmingly in the Senate. We'll take your path forward. Take yes for an answer. Instead, he has chosen a wall over workers. The president needs to end his senseless shutdown and reopen the government. And a champion in making that distinction for the president. You want to negotiate on the wall? Let's proceed in a way that is respectful of our security and respectful of our values. I'm pleased to yield to the distinguished Democratic leader of the Senate, Senator Schumer.
Thank you, Leader Pelosi, and I want to thank everyone here from AFGE, J. David Cox, and the great workers. And these are the people this is all about. These are people, it could be a cloudy Monday morning, rainy. They have 100 fever, but they go to work because they believe in what they are doing. They know how important it is to the American people. And to use them as hostages through a temper tantrum by the president is just so wrong, so unfair, so mean-spirited. It ought to end, and it ought to end now. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are furloughed. 100,000 more are working without pay. In a short time, they're going to miss their first paycheck. And when you multiply those federal workers by their family members, the people they love and care about and who rely on their steady paycheck to survive, you get a better sense of the pain that the president is causing with his shutdown. We've been joined today by men and women who are really dedicated in our VA hospitals and in FEMA and in EPA and in federal prisons. The people behind me represent the real human collateral damage of President Trump's temper tantrum. The president speaks all the time using this shutdown to make our border secure. But the dark irony is he's forcing TSA agents, CBP officers, and prison guards to work without pay. Tell me how that makes America more secure. So the president needs to come to his senses and end this shutdown now. I don't think he persuaded a soul with his talk last night. It was same old, mistruths, divisiveness. Didn't have the effect he had hoped. Speaker Pelosi and I are ready to pass legislation, already approved by Senate Republicans, to reopen the government and while we continue the debate on border security. We all want border security. There are different views on how to get there. But to hold these people hostage, instead of just letting them do their jobs, which they want to do while we work out our differences, so wrong. Why should we ask TSA officers to go without their hard-earned pay while they protect our airports? Why should we ask food safety inspectors to go without their hard-earned pay while they ensure the food we eat is safe? Why should we ask prison guards to go without their hard-earned pay while they keep the public safe? It makes no sense. None of these things have anything to do with a $5 billion request to fund the wall, which, of course, Mexico is still not paying for, despite what the president said last night. The House passed legislation to reopen the government. It's time for President Trump, our Republican colleagues in the Senate, to accept it. My message to President Trump and my Republican colleagues in Congress is simple. Our federal workers just want to do their job. It's time that you do yours. J. David Cox.
Thank you so much, Leader. Good morning, and I truly want to thank Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer for inviting us here today. Federal employees are absolutely, completely, and without reservation opposed to this government shutdown lockout, and it is a lockout, brothers and sisters. Whether we're being forced to work without pay or locked out of our jobs and prevented from going to work, we want this shutdown lockout to end this very minute. We don't just oppose it because we're not getting paid, but that would be reason enough. We don't just oppose it because we're being kept from doing our jobs on behalf of the American citizens, but that would be enough. We don't just oppose it because it makes a mockery of our democracy and our government, but that too would be reason enough. We oppose it for all those reasons, plus another very important reason. One, we oppose being held hostage. We oppose being collateral damage. We oppose the use of extortion instead of reasoned debate. We oppose politicians who think so little of us, our work, and the institutions of government that they think nothing of bringing whole government departments to their knees. Let's be vigorous in the debate over budgets and taxes and spending and border security. The Senate is the greatest deliberative body in the world, and so is the House. Oh, Madam Speaker, I was getting there. But let everyone make their best arguments. Try to persuade people. That's our system of government. That's the system of checks and balances in our government. But do not hold the government hostage. Do not hold our tax dollars hostage. Do not hold federal employees hostage. Do not hold our members' paycheck hostage. This morning, you'll hear from real federal employees who will tell you what's happening all across this country as our members try to figure out how to pay their bills this week without a paycheck on payday. You're going to hear from Eric Young from the Bureau of Prisons and Holly Salamino from HUD and from Steve Reeves from FEMA. And you're going to hear what this shutdown, and it is a lockout, feels like, what the damage it's doing to real people whose average take-home pay is $500 a week. Real families, they need their jobs, they need their paydays, they want to service the American people, and it's time for this lockout to end. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker and Mr. Leader. Thank you. Eric Young with our Council of Prison Local.
Good morning. My name is Eric Young, the National President of the Council of Prison Locals. We represent 32,000 bargaining unit employees inside our nation's 122 federal facilities. Federal correctional workers are the lowest paid federal law enforcement officers in government. Many live paycheck to paycheck. Our law enforcement officers start at a low pay scale, at GS 5, 6, 7, as Jay David stated, averaging between $500 and $700 a week. Many of our professionals are single mothers who are being forced to work without pay and still have the responsibility to pay for child care and other expenses like gas to get to work. There are mom and dads who are, in the most cases, a single sole source of income in their household. The workers taking care of their families, their children, the elderly parents. Veterans make up 30 to 40% of our federal workforce. Our veterans took off from their uniforms in the military to put on their uniforms in our American prisons, supervising some of the most heinous criminals in this society than most law enforcement officers would see pretty much in an entire career. Yet our pay is held for ransom. So this shutdown must end. Allowing this shutdown to go on any longer is completely unconscionable. This underfunding, the lack of staffing is so bad, we have secretaries, cooks, and teachers filling in every day behind missing correctional officers. This shutdown only makes it worse. So what does it serve America's public to shut down the government in the name of border security and neglect our internal security and the fabric inside of our federal prisons? We are the faces behind this shutdown. We are the real people working in the Bureau of Prisons, in the Transportation Security Administration, and other federal agencies today, doing so without federal pay. In this shutdown, if something happens to any of our professionals behind this distraction, blood will be on your hands. Stop playing chicken with our lives.
Well done.
I'd like to introduce Holly Salamino.
My name is Holly Salamito, and I serve as the president of AFGE Council 222, representing more than 5,000 employees across the country who work at the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This is a very difficult time for HUD employees. Many HUD employees, some of whom earn between $40,000 and $50,000 a year, live paycheck to paycheck. Employees can't make their car payments. They can't pay their daycare providers. If you don't pay your daycare provider, you lose your slot, and that is serious business. With the length of time this shutdown has gone on, people are going to start missing their mortgage payments, which could affect their credit rating. These financial impacts are serious and long-lasting. We've asked employees to share some of their financial difficulties, but in many cases they're embarrassed or ashamed to publicly disclose that they live paycheck to paycheck. In addition to federal employees, the people that HUD serves are impacted. HUD's mission includes serving some of the poorest people in America. I am told that building inspections are not taking place. HUD has oversight responsibility for public housing authorities, and if there's a problem, there's no one at HUD to call. In some cases, people are facing eviction. The repercussions of this shutdown are real, and we need Congress to reopen the government immediately. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Holly.
Mr. Reeves from FEMA.
My name is Steve Reeves. I'm a 23-year Army veteran who joined the civil service after retiring from the Army. I'm here today as the leader of the union for FEMA. We have more than 3,200 employees at the Federal Emergency Management Agency. We're just recovering from one of the most active hurricane seasons in recent memory, not to mention the historic wildfires that have devastated California. Ordinarily, this is when we restock, this is when we rest our people, this is when we prepare for the next big disaster. What this means is